So this evening we are making some homemade burgers, really quick and easy to make, and much nicer when you make them yourself. So I'm going to start off by dicing my onion. I'm actually only going to use half of this onion, so I'm going to I've taken the shoot off it, so I have left the kind of hairier end on the root on it. And I'm going to cut it in half before I go any further so that I can leave the skin on the half that I'm going to hold on to and use another time. I'll pop that in a box in a minute or two. And I'm going to take the skin off it first of all. And I'm going to take all the skin off it, but I'm leaving the root on it. So you can see there I've kept the root on that end. I'm just going to grab my compost box and pop all of the rubbish into it. Particularly when you're dicing onion, you don't want any bits of skin to get caught in with your diced onion, so make sure you keep your board nice and clear. So once you have all of the skin off your onion, we're going to follow the lines that we have on our onion here and put loads of little cuts across our onion that way first. So again, hand always like a claw, and following those lines the whole way along the onion. And the closer together that you put these, the finer the dice you get. And I'm cutting almost all the way down to the root, but I'm not cutting through the root, so I'm using the root to hold the onion together. If you had red onion, you could use red onion in this recipe as well. I didn't have any at home, so I'm using white onion this evening. So once you have loads of little cuts all the way across, then again, hand like a claw, and I'm going to do really fine little slices across my onion, all the way down to my root. So take your time, nice and slowly. The closer together, again, you do these, the finer the dice you get. You don't want huge big chunks of onion in your burger, so nice and finely dice it. So once you get closer to the root then, you can actually pop it down onto the flat side. So always when you're chopping anything, if you have a flat side, it's easier to cut. And then the last few bits. And keep going all the way down till you get to the root. And then that last little bit can go into our compost as well. So I'm going to pop my diced onion straight into my mixing bowl that I have here that I'm going to mix my burgers up in. And then we are ready to start adding the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so to my diced onion, I am going to start off by adding my minced beef. So I have this ready here. And because this is being minced, it'll be a nice tender cut of meat, so we can cook it in quite a quick way then. To my minced beef, I'm going to add 50 grams of breadcrumbs. So if you don't have breadcrumbs, you can use like a mini chopper just to grind up a slice or two of bread. If you buy breadcrumbs, they tend to always come in huge big bags. You can actually freeze the breadcrumbs, so you can use them then, and they tend to freeze loose so they don't clump up, so you can just take out as much as you need. So they're actually ones I had frozen there. We're going to add about half a teaspoonful of mixed herbs to that. Perfect. And then finally we're going to add 1 egg. So I've just cracked it into a little jar just to make sure that there was no shell in it. So I'm going to add that into the side there. Then a little bit of salt and pepper. So all of our ingredients are just going all straight into our mixing bowl. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of tomato ketchup as well. So once you have all your ingredients added, we are going to mix until it's all combined. So mix the breadcrumbs, the egg, mixed herbs, ketchup and onion all the way through our minced meat. So once you have your burger mix all combined, all mixed through together, we're going to actually start shaping it into burgers. Now, I have this fantastic little gadget, so it's just simply like a circular ring cutter and a little stamper to make burgers with. If you don't have one of these, you can use your hands. I'm going to show you one using your hands as well. There are loads of other kind of burger maker gadgets out there. An awful lot of them tend to actually just need an awful lot of washing. They tend to be kind of very complicated, and you can make them quite easily using your hands anyway. But I do find this one really handy. So you just stack your mixture into it and then use the stamper to stamp down your burger. So there's one made there. If you don't have a gadget like that, as I said, first of all, before you start kind of trying to shape the mixture, just wet your hands, and it prevents it from sticking too much. So I'm just going to wet my hands here, and then I'm going to take a spoonful of mixture. And I'm just going to bring it all together. First of all, into kind of a bit of a ball, and then I'm just going to use my chopping board here just to flatten it down. So you can see we have two burgers there, one made with the stamper and one made by hand. I probably actually didn't put quite enough meat into that. I might add another little bit in a second, but it gives you an idea of how to shape both types. Okay, so once you have all your burgers shaped, we're going to pop them on a grill pan and pop them in under the grill to cook. I have lined my grill pan with some paper. You can line it with a little bit of tin foil as well, just to make it a little bit easier to clean afterwards. And we're going to grill them, turning halfway through until they are completely brown the whole way through. So these have been under the grill on both sides for about 6 or 7 minutes. You do need to make sure that they're completely cooked all the way through. So if you have a meat thermometer, they need to be 75 degrees in the centre. The best way to check, to be honest, is to break one in half carefully and make sure that it is completely brown the whole way through. So once you have your burgers cooked, you can get ready to assemble. So you can heat your bread rolls or whatever you're assembling them with, and get your lettuce and tomato prepared, and then dig in.